people were thinking, predicting that I might not make it.
Two things before we get into like the meat and potatoes of our
No, I feel like you're
historical. No, I'm not going to cause any problems.
Madonna is speaking out for the first time since she was rushed to an intensive care unit 2 weeks ago. In an Instagram post, the pop legend, who turns 65 next month, tells fans she's on the road to recovery.
Madonna, no stranger to controversy, finds herself once again at the center of a new one. Reportedly, in a recent interview, she has disclosed that she is in imminent danger. The reasons behind this perceived threat are numerous, with a significant one being her outspoken stance against the entertainment industry. Historical instances have demonstrated that Hollywood often reacts negatively to artists who attempt to reveal its inner workings, sometimes resorting to threats. It appears that Madonna may be experiencing a similar situation.
Why this album now? I can't say why I'm writing this music right now. Everything that I do is a reflection of...
Just 4 months ago, Madonna found herself in an intensive care unit, battling sepsis. It's uncertain whether she witnessed her life flash before her eyes during that critical time, but on the second night of her long-awaited The Celebration tour, the audience were treated to a spectacle. Given the circumstances, her mere presence felt nothing short of miraculous. However, even if one were unaware of the challenges she had faced this summer, the enduring icon that is Madonna, spanning 4 decades and more, was a conclusion that the celebration might have naturally led to. To age is to sin, she shared towards the end of her 2-hour performance, echoing sentiments first expressed after her receipt of Billboard's Woman of the Year award in 2016. I think the most controversial thing I've done is to stick around. The phrase stick around seems rather understated when you reflect on what it encompasses. Madonna's endurance through the years includes controversies like accepting $5 million from Pepsi to launch Like a Prayer with an ad that coincided with a video featuring her kissing a black Christ in front of burning crosses. It also involves the publication of her explicit fantasies in S, a work the Vatican condemned as morally deplorable. One of the central messages of the celebration is to emphasize the superhuman triumph of will that Madonna's life represents.
It's not because I'm nervous. The sound is back on, I can breathe again. What is a concert without sound? I can't just get up here and twiddle my toes.
The early minutes of the performance make this abundantly clear, with a dizzying montage commencing with flyers and set lists from Madonna's early shows at New York's iconic Danceteria Club. Against the backdrop of the New York skyline at night, she delivers her debut single Everybody and Into the Groove, flanked by her ever-present dancers who wield torches. Some lines in certain songs might come across as mundane if sung by anyone else, but when Madonna utters, "Only when I'm dancing can I feel this free," it transports you to the heart of her foundational narrative. The dance floor as a place where outsiders can unite, redefine themselves, and begin anew. She momentarily chokes on a line and uses it as an opportunity to remind us that she can veer off script and stay on brand. Have you ever swallowed your own saliva? It happens when you're singing or sucking on something. Then a perfectly timed pause. Can I say bad words? Can I do naughty and provocative things? Madonna pays homage to her early struggles, confirming that the legendary tales of her living on $1 a day during her early days in New York City are indeed true. She shares that she embarked on the journey of becoming a musician and songwriting to ensure she would never have to return to Michigan as a failure.
And so it's important to note that right now because there's a lot of really crazy things happening in the world that are so painful to witness.
The commencement of her Celebration tour, which showcases a career that effectively set the template for modern pop stardom, was shrouded in uncertainty. Madonna found herself in intensive care, and there were doubts from onlookers as to whether the 65-year-old icon would recuperate in time. Madonna herself shared these apprehensions. "I'm pretty damn surprised I made it this far," she said on the first night, and I mean that on many levels. However, her fans are quite concerned about her sudden hospitalization, and it is natural because lately she has been very outspoken about the industry. In a recent revelation, Madonna introduced a new look that has sparked a wave of jokes and ridicule within popular culture. Her altered appearance has become the primary subject of jokes, drawing the attention of notable figures such as Piers Morgan and several celebrities who have incorporated it into their live shows. In response, Madonna has taken the initiative to directly address those who have made fun of her new image, adopting a confrontational stance in the face of this wave of mockery.
The act doesn't play when you're in your mid-60s.
Would you have been outraged if Mick Jagger was doing that?
I have
in the same way? I mean,
he doesn't do...
Piers Morgan, renowned for his outspoken commentary on various individuals, recently found himself in the midst of a controversy that attracted widespread negative attention and culminated in a direct clash with Madonna, with whom he has had a long-standing feud. Morgan's recent comments were directed at Madonna's appearance during Grammy Awards week, and they adopted a derogatory tone by likening her looks to a Halloween costume while making distasteful observations. This incident isn't the first of its kind, as just last year he criticized Madonna's dominatrix-style outfit at the VMAs, even going so far as to suggest that her purse required chainsaws to be opened, a comment related to her substantial wealth.
I have a view that Madonna is now become the most grotesque train wreck embarrassment in the history of world entertainment.
While it may appear that their conflict is a recent occurrence, the origins of their feud stretch back over decades, and it all began with an unexpected incident involving a simple bread roll.
All you troublemakers out there, you need to know that your fearlessness...
The roots of their feud can be traced back to the 1990s, but it reached a boiling point in 2001 during celebrity chef Marco Pierre White's 40th birthday celebration, which both of them attended. During the event, Madonna, accompanied by her then-husband Guy Ritchie, reportedly took offense at the comedic routine of the late comic Bernard Manning. This incident prompted Piers to escalate the situation, eventually culminating in him throwing a bread roll at Madonna. During an interview, Morgan told a magazine, "Madonna is pretty awful. She never forgave me for throwing a bread roll at her at Marco Pierre White's birthday. She was just being really obnoxious, not just to me, but generally. There was only 40 of us at this dinner party, and she got annoyed because Bernard Manning started being offensive, and that wound her up. She was with Guy Ritchie at the time, and he'd been laughing his head off. I just picked up a bread roll and chucked it at her." The history of friction between Piers and Madonna extends back many years, and their relationship has consistently been anything but harmonious during that time. Even before Piers took on the hosting role for Piers Morgan Tonight in January 2011, he had publicly characterized Madonna as a source of irritation in his life for 2 decades. He made it clear that the only way he would entertain the idea of having her as a guest on his show was if she publicly apologized to him on live CNN. Though he refrained from detailing the specifics of his grievances, he alluded to a series of incidents that had occurred between them. When pressed about the nature of these events, he vaguely mentioned that a few things have gone down between Madonna and himself, indicating a persistent undercurrent of unresolved tension.
When you're young and beautiful, like don't...
in your 60s.
But why can't you?
Piers maintained that he and Madonna had never discussed the bread roll incident, hinting at another episode related to a pub managed by his brother Rupert, which was owned by Madonna's former husband Guy Ritchie. Furthermore, Piers expressed his belief that Madonna's team had intentionally obstructed his endeavors.
But then that was about 40 years ago, and neither of us have aged particularly well. I would argue I've aged slightly better than Madonna.
In 2016, Piers expressed strong disapproval of Madonna's appearance in a carpool karaoke segment on James Corden's The Late Late Show. He specifically took offense at a clip in which she engaged in twerking and shared an anecdote about having kissed Michael Jackson. Then, in May 2019, when Madonna was spotted wearing a daring outfit, he publicly criticized her as shameless and labeled her an attention seeker. Piers referred to her decision to wear an all-black ensemble that covered her from head to toe as incognito and accused her of showing disrespect to Muslims, articulating his opinions through his Mail online column. An angry Piers said, "She knew exactly what she was doing because it's the same thing she's been doing for 40 years, shameless attention seeking. Only this time, when I stopped laughing at the headlines, I suddenly realized that her latest publicity-grabbing move wasn't actually very funny at all. It was actually grotesquely offensive." Despite Piers Morgan's frequent criticisms of Madonna, his admiration for her becomes apparent in his response to a critic. In August 2020, a critic mentioned that they had never followed Piers, but made a distinction between thinking something is over and having it under control. In response, Piers highlighted that he had 3 times as many followers as Madonna. However, the following month, when Madonna announced her intention to prioritize her music, Piers reignited his ongoing feud with her. He characterized her as pathetic and embarrassing, while also taking a swipe at her association with Robbie Williams.
Madonna taken with a long lens camera by a press photographer that would distort anyone's face. Once again, I'm caught in the glare of ageism and misogyny.
Piers Morgan acknowledged that during the time when Madonna released Holiday, she was undeniably the premier global pop star. However, in the present day, he expressed a sense of disappointment when observing her. According to him, the prevailing sentiment is that Madonna's current status is perceived as pathetic. He alluded to the upcoming biopic and suggested that this perception has become more widespread. Piers also commented that Madonna's approach to aging seems to lack grace, as she appears to be attempting to mirror the age of her boyfriends. His focus on Madonna isn't limited to the past, as he also criticized her when she announced her Celebration World Tour, describing the announcement as indicative of being a hot mess.
Do a world tour and play your greatest motherfucking hits.
4 decades?
Yeah,
40 years?
yes.
As in all those songs?
Piers wrote on Twitter, "I think Madonna's become the biggest cringe-making fiasco in world entertainment. We'll debate that tonight." During his television talk show, Piers Morgan didn't hold back his opinions about Madonna, firmly asserting that she should step aside from the limelight. He criticized her attempts to portray herself as a S symbol even as she's in her 60s, suggesting that she's pushing boundaries beyond what's appropriate. In one episode, he showcased a series of explicit photos shared by Madonna on social media, including one where she was captured lying beneath a bed, revealing her bare backside. Following this, Piers voiced his belief that Madonna had reached a low point in her career. He went on to propose that she should opt for her arena performances while seated in a rocking chair, implying that he believed her time in the spotlight had passed.
For acknowledging my ability to continue my career for 34 years in the face of blatant misogyny, sexism, constant bullying.
Piers Morgan's actions have indeed sparked a substantial wave of backlash, with criticism coming from various quarters. Some individuals have accused him of making misogynistic and overly harsh comments about Madonna. In certain instances, his behavior has been labeled as obsessive and fixated, particularly regarding his actions towards Madonna. One of the netizen wrote, "Appreciate Piers for speaking on behalf of rest of the world that's not delusional. Also can't believe people took kids to this madness." Another one added, "I'm a woman and agree wholeheartedly with Piers. Having such terrible facial surgery is quite frankly disgusting, but for some incredibly strange reason, seems very popular in the States. I know loads of women that agree with me, and we are allowed to have an opinion. Growing old gracefully, with class, is so much more us." The recent wave of backlash isn't a reaction to Piers Morgan's previous actions, but is instead a response to his recent comment about Madonna's appearance at the Grammy Awards. Madonna sported a noticeably more youthful look during the award ceremony, with plumper lips and smooth, wrinkle-free skin. In his usual bold fashion, Piers uploaded a close-up photo of Madonna, along with the caption, "I thought Halloween was in October." This comment ignited the current backlash.
I had to clap back at because life was simpler then. When I first moved to New York,
During a confrontation with comedian James Barr on his television talk show, Piers made a bold assertion that Madonna had undergone facial surgery. He also pointed out that he frequently receives criticism from Madonna's fans, including fat-shaming comments. Even among Piers' own supporters, there's a growing sense that he might be going too far, especially given Madonna's consistent lack of response throughout this one-sided feud. Nevertheless, Madonna indirectly responded by sharing images and clips featuring herself alongside stars like Sam Smith, Kim Petras, and Cardi B. This action was seen as a defiant response to her detractors, without directly engaging in the feud.
all these unexpected events not only helped me become the daring woman that stands before you.
It's not just Piers Morgan who has poked fun at Madonna. Even one of the greatest comedians, Kevin Hart, has made jokes about her. Madonna's participation in Tik Tok trends may not appeal to everyone, and it seems she might be unaware of this fact. Her involvement in TikTok trends has invited numerous jests from various quarters, including popular comedians and celebrities who are now taking aim at her. The reception of her content remains uncertain, leaving us unsure about its impact. Recently, comedian Kevin Hart attempted to make a joke connecting Madonna's age and TikTok, a combination that didn't sit well with the audience, leading to an unfavorable aftermath for him.
It's like our old jokes on Twitter or Madonna on TikTok.
Madonna's status as the queen of pop remains firmly intact, and she continues to command a great deal of respect from the public. However, there is a growing sentiment that she might be pushing boundaries a bit too far this time. To truly understand the context of what Kevin Hart did in relation to Madonna, it's important to trace back to how it all began. Madonna's decision to join TikTok hasn't been without criticism, given the app's association with trendy content and a predominantly young audience. Her presence initially became a talking point, perceived as amusing and lighthearted. However, the situation took a different turn, with some of her videos raising concerns about her judgment. One internet user wrote, "It's sad to see Madonna like this, but she has never cared what anyone thought about her style or behavior. The truth is that she captured the scene and everyone adored her in the 80s. Never expected her to turn out like this wreck, while Cher and Tina Turner are always endearing and admired." Another one added, "She has really changed her look completely. If I passed her on the street, I'd never know it was her. She can go ahead and lose the sideshow she takes with her everywhere. Trust she won't be hassled in public because no one will recognize her." Watching Madonna's TikTok videos, which encompass a range from dancing shirtless to sipping from doggy bowls, has left many genuinely concerned about her well-being. The apparent desperation for attention in these videos raises questions about the underlying reasons. Is it a response to the overshadowing of new artists, making her feel suddenly irrelevant? Or is there something more distressing at play? Both old and new fans are left puzzled, wondering if something might be amiss, with speculations even arising about the possibility of her being under the influence of something. The emotions stirred by these videos are a mix of cringe and genuine concern. It's unsettling to witness a musical icon with such a rich legacy still seemingly yearning for recognition in such a manner.
That has influenced every decision that I've made, and sort of left me with a feeling.
Clicking on one of Madonna's videos on TikTok leads to an unexpected experience. What unfolds in most of them is undeniably unsettling, with her behavior appearing to become progressively more unconventional. The singer has developed a penchant for sharing videos where her face is placed uncomfortably close to the camera, a move that elicits a range of responses from her followers. Observations about her appearance in these videos are generating discussion among her fan base. There's a sense that there might be a lot happening behind the scenes, leading to speculation that she could have undergone cosmetic procedures. It's worth noting that this isn't inherently negative. However, the transparency of these changes is what garners attention. She once told a magazine, "If you diva expletives want to keep complaining about it, then don't come to my show. I'm not back there eating chocolate and filing my nails and getting my extensions done, all right?" A common sight in most of Madonna's videos is her with bleached eyebrows and vibrant orange hair fashioned into 4 braids. Over the past year, her active presence on social media has sparked various reactions due to her distinct outfit choices and startling revelations. Amidst all this, a prevailing question arises. Has her reign as the queen of pop come to an end? The entertainment world seems to be finding amusement at her expense, and our sentiments tend to lean towards empathy. While her erratic behavior may have contributed to her popularity in the past, it's becoming increasingly evident that it no longer aligns with her current standing.
I don't understand what that was. Well, nobody does. To be honest with you, if I can get that part of my life back, I'd do anything to have it.
However, her fans have been very supportive. One of them said, "I loved her my whole life, and I always knew that she would fall hard as she got older. Hopefully it's just a phase that will pass. Grow old gracefully, girl." Another one said, "Madonna is not the bee that some people think. She has a big heart and she is a human being. My father passed away. Yes, it felt painful, but if my mother passed away, I do not know what I would do. I love so much my mother." Comedian Kevin Hart, known for his candid opinions, took a different approach to voice his perspective. Collaborating with Kenan Thompson, they explored the major headlines of 2022 in their skit aptly named Recap That Year Up. The segment was undeniably comical, providing their insights on various controversial events, such as Southwest Airlines' distribution of ukuleles to their passengers, and, of course, Madonna's cringe-worthy TikToks. Initially, Kevin touched on the idea that the pandemic's lasting impact seems undeniable. Drawing a parallel, he humorously likened it to Madonna's presence on TikTok, suggesting that her stint on the platform feels like it has been ongoing forever.
Make it look like I took her out. I didn't. I had to come here anyway. She doesn't know that.
It's a familiar scenario. The cringier the video, the longer it seems to linger in our minds, demanding an extra share of brain cells to process. It's a memory that becomes etched into our consciousness. According to Kevin, watching Madonna's videos constitutes a collection of moments one wishes they could erase. It's a regrettable investment of time, and he expresses a desire to reclaim that portion of his life. Amidst their compliments on her appearance, they humorously suggest that perhaps no one has taken the time to explain how TikTok operates to Madonna. This assumption arises from her habit of recording videos in an extremely close-up fashion, to the extent that every pore becomes visible.
Take a look at this.
That's her.
Now watch this.
That's Madonna there.
Madonna, back the up, Madonna.
Good. No.
What you doing? What is she doing?
Madonna's unusual approach to her TikTok videos, with her extreme close-up style, has left a disconcerting impression on many. Whether it's due to difficulty seeing the phone or simply her aesthetic choice, viewers appear to align with Kevin Hart's sentiments, even if his remarks could be considered somewhat controversial. Although subtly delivered, his statement essentially constitutes an attack and a clear instance of mockery. Given Madonna's formidable nature, a response from her might be anticipated. However, people still show their concerns because they have seen that women are never safe in this industry, and they have speculations that it is possible the toxic environment might have impacted her. This issue was raised by Joe Rogan in his podcast. It seems like Joe also has some serious issues with the elites of the industry from the very start, and the speculations grew stronger when in the 1951st episode of the JRE podcast, UFC commentator Joe Rogan brought on YouTuber CoffeeZilla as his guest. Their conversation revolved around the challenges and issues plaguing the Hollywood industry. Rogan highlighted an interesting perspective, stating that in the industry, individuals often receive a lot of attention and admiration when they are successful and thriving. However, when actors face difficulties or their careers hit a rough patch, they often find themselves isolated, with few willing to engage in conversations with them.
You've developed your own show and you've created your own thing. You haven't been chosen. In Hollywood, the problem is you're being chosen for everything.
Joe Rogan expressed concerns about the safety of young artists, particularly females in Hollywood, citing the unsettling practices employed by Hollywood elites in the casting process. During the discussion on his podcast, the 55-year-old host emphasized how Hollywood actors often feel compelled to shape their personalities to align with the expectations of those who hold the power to grant them roles in movies. He said, in Hollywood, the problem is that you're chosen for everything, so you're being cast in these things. You have to deal with people that approve you or pick you, so you're formulating your personality based on whatever the zeitgeist is, whatever the ideology of most of the producers are. Joe further delved into the hypothetical scenario of how Hollywood might operate with a right-wing ideology, sparking speculations that he was addressing the questionable casting practices involving females in the industry. However, Rogan clarified that actors often conform to industry norms not out of personal conviction, but to fit in and secure a successful career. He argued that these actors shape their beliefs and opinions based on what they perceive as the path to success, rather than rigidly adhering to any specific ideology.
So you're being cast in these things. So you have to deal with people that approve you or pick you. So you're formulating your personality based on whatever the zeitgeist is.
And this is what people are watching in Madonna's career. Her fans have suggested that she has been acting weirdly because she might have been threatened by the elites as her career seems to be on stake. That's it for today. See you in the next video. Until then, goodbye.